Hey everyone, it's me Catherine, and today I'm here to bring you my November wrap up. Because I'm a little bit sad because I've just tried to make some cornflake buns, which is just melted chocolate and cornflakes. But maybe I put too much chocolate in the bowl when I was trying to melt it. Maybe I got the water too hot, but it just sort of turned all my chocolate into like a weird brownie mixture, which is not what you want. So I've had a little cry because yeah, that upset me because I was looking forward to making some cornflake buns today, and that's not happened, and now I don't have any chocolate left to try again. So I'm just gonna go back to making my Christmas cards and we're going to wait, no, I don't need green, I need white. So, you know, here we go. So November has been it feels like it's been quite a month. I was trying to think of like everything I did in November, and like I don't think it's been a lot. Like oh wait, I don't think that's quite right actually. Get a bit longer, because like end of October I was finishing up my sister's birthday canvas, and that feels like forever ago. And now here I am, November, and I'm working on Christmas cards and Christmas presents. I have two Christmas presents down. In fact, you know what, since we're here, these are for my nieces. My youngest niece is a big fan of, she likes elephants and she loves Heffalump. So I've done her a little, I'm a bit annoyed that when I ordered the frames they didn't have black in stock, so I ordered grey instead. And then like a day or two later the black was back in stock, so I could have just waited, but I didn't want to. So we have that I did. And then my eldest niece was a bit of a pain because I was not sure what to do for her. I originally wanted to, she really likes pigs, so I was going to try and do pigs. That did not go well, so I was like really like upset and like stressing about that, because like Jesus Christ, this is not working. I don't know why I thought I could do this. I was like really getting down on myself, like Catherine, who said you could paint? Why did you think you had any talent? And then I changed my mind. I calmed down. I slept on it, tried the pig again. It did not work. So I stepped away and went looking for something else, and I settled on some Japanese, some scenery. So I found a picture online and did a little watercolor. Just did a little watercolor of that, and that's gone so much better. And it just like, it's just honestly, it must have seriously been weighing on me, this one, because like the last couple of nights I've not slept well. These presents like weighing on me, and then last night was the best night's sleep I've ever had all week. But I slept for ages. Last night I slept for a lot longer than I usually do, so I definitely needed it. But anyway, so yeah, so what have I done this month? What have I done? Me and my sister, I don't know if at the end of October I talked about that Stories Untold that we were playing. We actually finished that, and did that go a place neither of us was expecting. Neither of us were expecting that last episode. Maybe if we'd paid attention, potentially, I don't know if we'd have picked up any clues, but that it was all sort of like going the way it was, because to us each episode, because there's 4 episodes in each episode, they didn't seem to be connected at all. Like, and then you get to the last episode and it's like, oh okay, well that's where this was going. But no, that was good. I also started playing Dead by Daylight this month, well last month, because it's December, I'm filming this. Played Dead by Daylight with a friend of mine, an old uni friend of mine. That's very stressful, but that's been a lot of fun. Like I've only played like 4 times, so like I'm still fairly new at it and still learning a lot, but that's been a lot of fun. Like I can see why people enjoy it a lot. It's good fun. It's good fun. Like with friends. I've not tried it without yet. I don't know what it's like with randos, because I'm also a bit scared of playing with randos because of my skill level. That just adds like a lot of pressure to me, and it just like ups the stress a little. So playing with friends so far, a lot of fun, even if I am not very good. Actual reading wise, this month I did get a Chainsaw Man vlog up, so like through October, I actually, at the beginning of October I started reading it, but like November is when I really sat down to read Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man by, oh fuck's sake, come on Catherine, by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Okay, by Tatsuki, Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. So if you're unaware, Chainsaw Man is about Denji, who is a teen who basically is in debt. Like, his dad died when he was like 10 or something, and he sort of took on that debt and has not had an easy life of it. It's just him and his little chainsaw dog, chainsaw dog devil, Pochita. And like right in the first, like this is, I mean, you might consider it spoilers, but this is like first chapter stuff. Like, they both die, but then Pochita manages to make himself Denji's heart, and Denji becomes Chainsaw Man. That's like how the whole thing starts. And we're following Denji as he is learning stuff about being Chainsaw Man and working for the public safety division, security, I can't remember. And honestly, it was not what I was expecting at all. But like, content warning for, obviously there's the parental death that happens at the beginning. That's not really a big thing, but it is a thing that happened. Content warning for like bodily, there's a lot of bodily fluids. You'd expect the blood, right? There's also a lot of vomit. There's a way more vomit than I was expecting from this. So like, content warning for that, and also for like grooming, because Denji is sort of taken under the wing of this woman who works for the government or whatever. She's like the boss, and she sort of takes Denji under her wing, and she's not a good person. Is that spoilers? But you sort of get that idea from the beginning, like she's not a good person. So like, content warnings for that. But apart from that, no, it's really good. Like, and I really enjoyed it. I've only read the part 1 because it's apparently split into parts, which I didn't realise till I got to the end of part 1. So I've read that part, which is the part that you can see in the vlog, which I'll link if you want to check out. But there's that. I haven't read any more, but no, that was good. It was not what I was expecting at all, and it's fairly fast paced as well. Like, it doesn't hang around, it does not mess around with taking its time with things. Like, it's on all the time. So yeah, there's that. And then I actually finished a whole book. I read North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I actually finished it this month. I can't actually remember when I started it, but I actually finished it this month, and it was so good. It was so good. I have a whole video coming, like a spoiler-free review and like a spoilery chat. Are we dry enough yet? Coming for that. So that's like, I'm just so proud of myself that I actually managed to finish a whole book, you know? Go me, like, cause you know, I've basically just been reading fan fiction. Like, I've been reading fan fiction and reading very little like published stuff. Like anything else, like I've just been, oh, maybe it's not that dry. I think it's just the top that's not that dry. It should be alright actually. Anything that's not fan fiction, and while I am still reading fan fiction, I'm just like so pleased that I managed to finish a whole book. But North and South, if you're unaware, is sort of set in the, oh god, I don't know if it's like the late 1800s. And we're following Margaret Hale, who grew up in sort of the South, rural South. Like her childhood home or whatever is like basically like a cool, like a little forest, and she lives in like a little town, village type place. It's not a big place. And then for reasons, her family ends up having to move to the north, and they move to Milton, which is like a town, I guess, known for its mills, its factories and whatnot. It's basically a working class town, and it's very sooty, and that's where she's introduced to Mr. Thornton, who is the owner of a mill, and their sort of like antagonistic friendship that sort of builds, and then the romance that blossoms from that. And it was sold to me, right? What sold it to me was Industrial Pride and Prejudice. Honestly, it's not wrong. It definitely goes a lot heavier on the political side of things, in the political workings of the factories and the workers and the treatment of the workers, because there's one of the major plots in this is there's a strike going on, and we see how that's being dealt with and how the workers are treated and how everything's going on, and Margaret gets sort of like really involved in that on both sides, from Thornton's side being like the owner of the mill, and she also befriends like one of the workers who works for the union, one of the main organisers of the strike, and she's sort of like her learning about all of this while also dealing with her family and how they're settling into Milton, which is with varying degrees of success. You know, like, but no, it's really good. And the ending, the ending was magic, absolute magic. And like, if you're okay with like the heavier side of it, like with the whole strike thing and the workers' way of life and things like that, like if you're okay with that, like definitely recommend. It's definitely a good read. But yeah, so like Pride and Prejudice, but definitely a little on the heavier side. And like, I feel kind of bad being like, hey, it's like Industry and Pride and Prejudice, because obviously it's a book that stands on its own, but it is sort of like Pride and Prejudice in the sense that it does deal with a lot of pride and prejudice with the workers, with people from the north and the south, and you know, workers versus their masters and things like that. And I know I just I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just really proud of myself for actually getting to finish it. And not only that I finished it, but that I stayed up late to finish it. Like, that hasn't happened for a physical book in so long, you know? Like I've let something that's not, like I've let like an original work, we'll call it, like grip me like that. Nothing like that's happened in so long. I guess it helps that like the dynamic between Thornton and Margaret is a dynamic that I very much enjoy, and one that suits my current comfort ship very well. Like, I could picture them both in the places of Margaret and Thornton so well, and that potentially helped, you know. That definitely went a ways to getting me hooked. But I was actually hooked on the actual characters as well. Like, I'm not saying that that's the only reason I read it, but no, it's so good, so good. And honestly that's been about November. Like, I've not really watched much. I've been like getting caught up on YouTube and stuff, getting back up to date and keeping up to date on like subscriptions and things, and getting back into booktube, because there's a lot. I was so behind. Like, I hadn't watched like hadn't properly watched a booktube video in so long, but like sort of getting back into it. So I think that's also helped with my reading and that. I guess another thing to note is that I am taking a break from Twitch till the new year, because I just have not had the, like, my social energy. I hate saying my energy is low, but like I do other things, but like my social energy has just been, so like I've been like taking my other energy to bump up my social battery, so I've been able to do streams, which has just been tiring me out. So I've taken a break from that, but honestly that's pretty much been my November. So that's gonna be it. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Do let me know how your November went in the comments below. Hopefully you had a decent month, and hopefully you're all ready for the holiday season. As always, all my appropriate links are in the description below for socials and such. My coffee is also there if you'd like to support me that way, no pressure. But apart from that, thanks so much for watching. I will hopefully see you in another video soon, but until then, take care, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!